Hello and welcome to Radiant Freedom Digital Marketing. And today we're doing a replay of our TGI SEO Fridays webinar series. And this is part 2 of Lesson 7. Lesson 7 covers selecting your topics and writing your articles. And in part 2, we'll be featuring a live demo on how to build your list of topics. And joining us again is Odin Xavier from the Canadian marketing team, co-hosting this webinar. And I highly encourage you to check him out. I have links to his channel and website in the description down below.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another TGI SEO Friday. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with Jason Ross and myself, Odin Xavier, from the Canadian marketing team. It's pretty exciting what Jason's going to be sharing with us today. I wanted to let you guys know that he put a call out for volunteers. And you know what? I happen to be the one that wanted it more than anyone else. He called me the squeaky wheel, and I love it. So Jason, we're going to be watching this live demo, and I want you guys, everyone, to realize this, that all of you can get these services by coming on, participating, and finding out what and listening to what Jason is going to be talking about. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pass it over to Jason, and make sure you check out Jason's YouTube channel because he's going to be able to show you a whole bunch of great SEO strategies. And remember, if you don't want to be doing SEO on your own and you're checking out all of Jason's processes, then you can definitely 100% ask Jason to help you out with your SEO too. So with that, Jason, I'll hand it over to you and say thanks very much for doing TGI SEO Fridays.
Yeah, thank you very much, Odin. It's a pleasure to be here once again, and it's always a pleasure to be sharing our audiences together and and doubling our exposure. So, as Odin mentioned, we're going to be doing a really awesome thing today. So, what we're doing is actually picking up from where we left off last 2 weeks ago. So, this will be part 2 of lesson 7, where we're actually going into live demos and to be showing you how to do the steps to create your topics for your writing content, such as your articles. Over the next few webinars, we'll be going through through the main points that we covered last webinar. And right now, what we're doing is going through how to build your list of topics. And so, what we'll be covering is step 1, and doing a more detailed, in-depth look at that and live demo of it. So, first part of that is, of course, listing your services and products. And just a refresher on that, so what we do is write down a list of your services and the problems that you solve, compare them to the main services you offer and what pain points and services you propose to solve, and write all these things down, as they'll be helping you to get ideas for topics as we work through the process of creating your list. So beyond that, we then want to take a look at finding out what your target market is asking about. But first, I'm going to break out of this presentation for a moment to show you we'll just go through this because there's only a couple of slides anyways, so may as well just walk you through what we're going to be doing and then do it. So the next step is finding out what your target market is asking about. And what we do is look at a few different techniques you can do to do that. First is simply ask your clients, leads, and colleagues and business contacts what they need to know more about the most, as well as ask online groups and live events that your target market hangs out in. Do a survey, as well as you can take a look at what your top competitors are talking about and use tools like Market Samurai or Question Samurai. And now what we'll be doing in this one here, because the other ones can be pretty time consuming, is we'll be demoing how you can use the tool called Question Samurai to identify what people are asking about in search engines like Google. And then the third part of building up your list of topics is doing a search of social media activities, competitors' articles, and just seeing what your competitors are talking about, as well as what people in general are asking and talking about on social media and what current trends are. So basically what you're looking for when you're going through social media, other blogs, and any other type of sites, news articles, anything like that, is looking at, first of all, what is the article itself about? And second, what are people commenting and posting about within the article or as well? And basically what you want to be sure is when you're looking at these questions is that, first of all, that they're relevant, but also that you can answer them and they fit with your SEO or content plan. And anything you find that's relevant, you start adding to your list of potential topics. And most importantly, and the reason I put this into an entire title slide all of its own, is keep adding new topics to the list whenever a new idea comes up. Doesn't matter where it is, when it is, or what you were doing. Write it down and add it to your list, because that's one of the fastest ways to put yourself into a writer's block, is you run out of things to talk about. So what we're going to do here is go over and show you a document that myself and Owen have been working on prior to this webinar. So what we did is we came up with a basic list of target keywords. So we have business management, business consultants, business coaching, as well as biz marketing coaching and sales coaching, plus variants of that for Vancouver and Surrey. So we're showing here is basically things that are relevant to his services and products that we would have found, let's say, if we were doing a full keyword research. And in this case, we didn't do full keyword research because we didn't have the time. But if we were doing that, we would have checked to make sure that these things have enough traffic or search volume, going on, within the time frame we're looking at, say per month, per day, whatever it is, as well as looking
Jason,
at the not too
that is
competitive.
that is something you can do. You can provide someone those full services, right? They can either
Exactly.
do it themselves, or they can say, hey, let's have Jason do it for us. So I just want to let you guys know.
Yes, and that is one of the services I do as part of setting up my SEO plans, is looking at what are the best keywords to target. And I do a full analysis of that to make sure that there's enough people using it and it's not too competitive to get you up there with a reasonable amount of time and within a reasonable budget. So next thing we do, and these are all things that I do for my SEO clients, in setting up what our content plan is for the content portion of the SEO plan. And the next thing we look at is, what are your main services or products that you offer? And if you offer a lot of them, such as if you're an e-commerce shop or something like that, then we look at what are the main categories or the most profitable, most popular products. And basically the idea is to get a list of enough of them to get some topic ideas, as well as then we take a look at pain points. So for Odin's case, we looked at that he does weekly, monthly, and annual customized marketing plans with support. He writes copy with business owners, so in other words, copywriting coaching. He does presentation strategies, lead generation strategies, creating joint ventures and strategic alliances, business coaching, sales coaching, and hands-on live training and coaching, one-on-one as well as one-on-many. So, and then we looked at what are the main pain points that he solves. Well, one of them is he helps business owners who don't know what marketing is to create a marketing plan, as well as helps them to solve the mysteries of how to market, what marketing is, build confidence in their own skills, as well as he helps them deal with lack of time for sales, poor time management issues, as well as provides a workbook for them to do a weekly workbook to help keep track of what weekly tasks they need to do, what their current goals are, so that they can keep themselves on track. And he is also aware of a couple of questions his audience is asking about that he already knows, which is how to get more results from marketing and how to save money on marketing. So the next thing that we'll do is look at what else is his audience asking about. And so what we'll do is head over to this tool called Question Samurai. And what I'm actually going to do is take one of these points from above here. So we could do a target keyword, or we could do one of his services. So let's say we'll do the service business coaching. See, what are people asking about related to business coaching? So I just copied it and pasted it into Question Samurai, and this is an app which I paid a couple of bucks to get, which is made by the same people that do Market Samurai, which I demonstrated a few lessons back on how to do your keyword research. And so I'm going to click the search button now. Now what's happened is it's just created a whole list of questions people are asking related to this term. So, first one is, okay, looks like that's in a foreign language, so I'll ignore that one. So how business coaching can help. So that actually looks like a pretty good topic. And that's, a question topic. So right there, when people are asking that, they're actively searching for that thing. So I'm going to put this in here as, okay, I'm going to make sure that's in black so we can actually see it. Because that's one of the key things in building websites is make sure you have good contrast so that people can actually see your contents. How can coaching and mentoring promote business objectives? That looks like a good topic. So, and these are question topics. So bridging the gap from what the topic is to what you can write about is fairly easy. And basically what we do is just keep going through this list looking for things that look like they'd be relevant. So life coaching, that's a little bit probably off topic to what you're doing, Odin, I would imagine. It's not as directly related as.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we would skip something like that then. How much is business coaching? How much should I pay for business coaching? Something like that. Those would be similar topics. It could be things we talk about. In this case, for something like that, where you see two things that are similar, what I do is probably pick the one that's a little bit more specific and targeted and pick that one there. So like in this case, I'd go, how much should I pay for business coaching? Is a bit more of a targeted, so you'd be more likely to get more targeted traffic from something like that than the other. And the reason I don't pick both of them is because when you're building out your topics, what's going to happen is if you do two different articles about the exact same or almost the same topic, where you're pretty much writing the same thing, and then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting your own contents competing against each other for search rankings. So you're going to start cannibalizing your results essentially, which is not always necessarily what you want, because then your articles start, competing against each other and competing for your traffic. So it's better to have one article about each topic that's very good and very high quality about it, rather than shoveling about many articles about the same thing. If you are going to do multiple articles about the same topic, make sure that you're doing it about different parts of that topic. So this should give you a bit of an idea of one of the ways that you go about finding out what your audience is asking about. In addition to that, I could ask, say, the participants in this webinar, so let's say a marketing question that that you have right now. What's the biggest marketing question you have? And you could put that in the chat if you have one. And what we'll do is take a look in chat, and if you see anything pop up in the chat, just let me know. And in the meanwhile, we'll take a look at, okay, looks like something's just showed up.
So how can I reach my target market more effectively?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. So what we do then is, okay, so we just asked our audience. So this is actually one way you can ask your audience if you're on a webinar. Well, you have a captive audience right there you can ask. So what we do is add that into there, because that's definitely different enough from the others that it's a topic unto itself. And so Odin, this could be something that either you or I could address in a future blog article or video or social media post.
Perfect.
And now, one thing I will mention is that going through these steps we're covering in this webinar is actually one of the things that'll help you to reach your target market more effectively, because what you're doing is you're looking at what are they asking about, and then targeting content towards what they're asking about, as well as towards what's going to be most likely to rank in the top 10 in search engines. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is what are our competitors talking about. So for that, it requires doing a little bit of sleuthing here. So I was going to go into Google and let's say look at sales coaching, Surrey. Let's see what pops up. So it looks like we got an ad here from, Brooks Group. So what we do is could go into here. And so this looks like this is one of your competitors, Odin. And oh, they have a blog. So let's take a look at what they're writing about in their blog. So how to use, so how to use Disc to write better sales emails. The 9 negotiation skills your reps need to know or need now. 7 tips for building positive feedback. So what we do is, let's say, copy these headlines first thing. Okay, looks like it's being a little bit jittery here, but anyway, so what I do is copy these headlines, and just FYI, what I'm doing is doing Control Shift V for paste, so I can do a paste special, so I can do unformatted, so I'm not getting a bunch of crazy HTML formatting stuff coming into here, which will start making things all look crazy, which is mainly just for ease of reading the list later on, which is something that I definitely recommend you keep in mind, because we're going to want to come back to this list later on. You're going to want to make sure that you can understand what your list is. So what you do is take a more in-depth look at this normally, and then take a look at more topics, other competitors, and so on. So other things that we can do, again, does it say, we'll take a look at, let's say, 9 sales negotiation tips your reps need to know. So then what we do is open this article up, and we read or at least skim through the article. So talk to the right people, build relationship. So it looks like this person is giving you, good information. Looks like they even embedded a video into here. So that's something to consider, is maybe you might want to embed, if you're doing videos about similar topics, you might want to embed videos. All right, it looks like they aren't doing any comments on their articles, so we aren't going to be able to take a look at that. But if there were comments, we could take a look at comments, see what questions people are asking. That'll give us more ideas on how to. They're even doing a live chat, so that's an interesting thing. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. It's another thing that they're doing, which is another way of connecting with their customers, as well as finding out what questions people are asking about. So now let's take a look at what's going on in social media. So let's say, for example, what Odin's doing is really a very heavily business-to-business thing. So maybe we'll go on to LinkedIn and see what are other, business professionals asking about, say, to do with, sales coaching. No, I won't do the Surrey part in this case, unless we start getting a huge number of results. But the main thing is to sort of give you the general idea of what we're doing. This will give us a chance to see what are our business professionals, asking about right now, what topics are trending on this, as soon as LinkedIn decides it's ready to load. All right, looks like that's taking a little bit too long. So basically what we do is do a search on that there, and then pick out topics that we find. Yeah, it's still, oh, there we go. Now something's happening. All right, there we go. So what I'm going to do is use LinkedIn search up here. So I'm going to do sales coaching. So what's probably going to come up right now, based on the nature of LinkedIn, is going to focus more on people who have that listed in their profile, indicating that that's their profession. But there's a way that we can work around that there with once the search finally shows up, to make sure that we're do that, and that's click the content tab here. So we'll now get the search to highlight content about sales coaching. So let's see, what are people talking about within the LinkedIn community. So we got successful coaching strategies. So looks like there isn't any comments. So it looks like this person's sharing an article that they wrote about this. And so we do see some comments here. So what we could do here is look at some of these comments here and then see if any of these things would be there. So it looks like someone here is linking to something else. So those are things you could do, is like say follow this link, see what this person's talking about here. And as you're doing this, what you do is start taking notes about that. Okay, this person talked about this. This might be something I might want to talk about too and give my take on it. Or maybe this thing here elicited a question down here in the comments. So maybe, and there's actually 30 comments on this one, so this would actually be a good one to take a more in-depth look at it, because it's actually getting a response out of people. So we do is click on here, take a look at what are all the comments that people are talking about here. And if there's somebody, let's say, asking a question or is saying something here that sparks an idea, that's kind of what you're looking for. So what we do, so we say we see a question here, there you could look at this. Okay, well, somebody's asking about this, so maybe more people in my target market are asking about it too. Because a general rule of thumb, if one person is asking about it, there's probably at least 100 others out there who have that same question who aren't asking it. So, but of course, because that one person did ask it, that somebody at least out there wants to know more about that. So what you do is take something like that and add that question into here, or add your ideas into here. So like, for example, this post here. So what I might do is, let's say, take the content. Shannon's going to click the see more. So I'm going to do is take the content of this and just paste that into here. Say topic, or say might do something like linked in post. Indent that in and just put the content in here. So so I know that someone on LinkedIn was talking about this stuff here, and it was generating a lot of buzz. So it's definitely something that's on people's minds. So you might want to talk about that yourself in a near future. And then from there, what we do is compare each of these things to what's going on with our target keywords. What's our products, services, pain points that we solve? And how can we then translate each of these ideas here into topics that are, that fit our services, our pain points, and our keyword strategy? And at that point, then we, say, might we pick out something like, how much should I pay for business coaching? Because if you look up here, business coaching is on our keywords. Business coaching is one of the services that we offer. And that would definitely tie into some of the pain points that we're looking to solve. So, and then we put that down as, okay, so that question in itself is already in itself a topic that we could cover. And then from there, we then go into what we'll be covering in 2 weeks' time, which is how would we research this topic and then gather more information about this thing here. So that'll be our next webinar, and that's the end of Lesson 7, Part 2. And this has been the live footage from our TGI SEO Fridays webinar series, Lesson 7, Part 2. Now, if you found this information helpful, be sure and hit the like button to let us know. If you have any other questions or anything feedback you'd like to give us, be sure and let us know in the comments section down below. And if you're not subscribed, be sure and hit the subscribe button so that you stay up to date on the latest contents coming out. Now remember, you're awesome. So shine your awesomeness for the world to see. This has been Jason from Radiant Freedom, and bye for now.